Well, look what we get to show you today, a Mythic Whisper. This has been a long time awaiting for me here, and I gotta say, I couldn't be happier playing daggers again. One of the favorite things about this game is just watching those high amount of hits, just hearing those dagger noises. It's absolutely a thrill for me. But as you know, up to this point, we've been using the Mythic Nomad Bow, and now this is going to be my first S-grade weapon inside the game. Well, at least first S-grade up to Mythic. So the big question is how good is this thing, and how does it actually compare to the Nomad Bow? Now I did go and pop the Legendary +3 on just to go in real quick, get some base numbers, see how it was, just to see how much of a change this is really gonna make. And I will say too, out of playing only 2 runs with this, I haven't tested a whole bunch, but I did have a run where I got a good amount of daggers, and it seemed to work fairly well. Now I have no idea when I go and equip the Nomad Bow and put this Whisperer on why I'm losing 300 CP. It doesn't really make too much sense to me, but still, that doesn't matter. The reason we want to use this is for that Mythic stat. And I gotta say, with only having 1 Guardian Ring on, these stacks actually pop up pretty quickly. And that Mythic stat's gonna be with each dagger hit, your weapon crit rate will increase by 2%, and the crit damage will be increasing by 5%, up to 10 stacks. And by the time round 2 hits, you're pretty much already making this point, meaning you're gonna have a 20% extra weapon crit rate and an extra 50% on that crit damage. And I will say, right off the bat, going into the round, this feels like it hits a lot harder than that Nomad Bow. I still need to switch up some of my stats and pets and artifacts around, but I just kind of popped the weapon on, went in. However though, one of the things I really need to focus on is now going for different skills inside the game. If you saw the video yesterday when I went over the whole shock discharge and the best things to get, if I get enough daggers on this and just get a lightning dagger, I am pretty much well set for proccing that shock discharge. And going from the Nomad Bow into the Whisper, it does feel like I may need to get that War Veteran a little bit more now, and the fact that I'm not going to be getting those continuous stacks of attack power. The fact that just like the Nomad Bow, this is also a weapon crit rate weapon means that I am still going to try to get things like the Combo Mastery and the Crit Mastery. Because anytime I go and crit inside the game with the weapon, it is going to mean more daggers get thrown out. Now where we did actually go and get like a big CP jump on this, there is one big stat on this that's really going to help out. And that's with the Nomad Bow, my weapon crit rate was only 30%. This Whisperer, however, is going to be a 50% increase. So you may be saying to yourself, with that crit mastery and getting that crit rate from it, it may not actually be needed, but the crit damage with how much we're going to be critting with this thing is going to be a huge help. But having it where I now don't need to go and try to focus on grabbing all those different bolts inside the game, this is going to open up the opportunity to grab those rage skills and hopefully make it where I can go and proc that 3 max every single time I'm in a round. We know the whole reason why they nerfed the rage to the limit there was because of the Whisper, but it's still pretty strong with it, and I think they might even tweak it back up a little more. Now that I am playing around daggers inside the game, I'm thinking I might actually go and drop Outly and throw in the Slime King to help with some of those combo encounters. We obviously have Frey in here, which is going to be huge for helping out with all those additional daggers that I grabbed, so that's going to be a nice little perk to have in there. However though, the downfall is kind of bad timing on my point, because the whole update that's coming out with having some treasure weapons, this Whisperer isn't gonna fall underneath it. So where all the other weapons are getting a little bit of a buff, this thing might just be sitting in the shadows until next update. I am currently only running 1 Guardian Ring right now, and I was using that Fire Ring to kind of help narrow down the levels because I was timing out on things, but I'm thinking maybe I see how the second Guardian Ring goes, because it just seems to be the way to use the Whisperer. Now I think one of the questions I'm going to get asked is if I'm going to sacrifice my Nomad Bow to take the Whisperer to Mythic +1. And I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to hang on to both of these. If I get stuck on a chapter, it's nice to have another high level weapon to switch it out and just see if the run goes any better. As much as I was excited about getting this Proof of Glory, now that I have this thing, I'm thinking to myself, man, I really wish I would have gotten the actual Reckoning badge up to a Mythic state, but that just wasn't in the scenario. So I think we're going to just rock it like this. I'm going to switch some things out, kind of fine tune it and feel what it really works, but this thing absolutely feels like a lot of fun, and it still seems to hold up pretty good. Would I say it's a huge jump over the Nomad Bow? No, I'm still kind of getting the same spot and getting stuck on the same last boss, because it all comes down to that shock discharge. I guess the big question is now is what's the next weapon I should try to get up to this Mythic state? I do only need 9 more of the Bishop Staffs just because I was trying to pull so many of these, but it's up in the air, just gonna kind of see how things go. However though, if you do want to know more about that shock discharge and how to kind of build up for it, take a look at this video right here. Thanks for watching, and remember, I pick my butt.